Hi everyone, welcome back to SwitchUp and to the video where we look at some games that are on sale, hopefully the best ones this week. Now for some weird reason, Nintendo have done an absolutely huge sale out of nowhere, honestly, unless I've missed some special holiday that it is that, well, I missed. With that said, we've got some crackers here, some of the lowest prices ever, and here is the winner of our free game from the last episode. If you'd like to win a code, just leave your comments down below, really. Doesn't have to be about anything in particular, like something else and all the cream goes to the top. And if you're lucky enough to be in one of the regions we support, you can save yourself 5% on your eShop credit by using switchup.gg to buy it. You get 5% back in coins. That's SwitchUp coins, and you still get your Nintendo ones. Alrighty then, what are the best games on sale, and one that tried to sneak its way into my list? Well, let's find out. Okay, first at its lowest ever price then, we've got Bramble, the Mountain King, which is down 60% to $9.99 here in the UK. This one was published by Merge Games, and then it was developed by Dim Frost Studio. It's a little bit like a Grimm's fairy tale story. It starts out okay, slightly high fantasy, filled with mythical creatures and the like, and then it gets dark, and I mean decapitation dark, so this isn't one that I would suggest for kids. Another nice thing is that Dim Frost have actually revisited this one with patches about 5 or 6 times since it came out, and it's in a much better state now on Switch. Now I believe it was Glen that did the full review for us, so I'll pop a link to that in the description if you want to go see that. But certainly a nice one, not the longest game, I think it took him around about 5 or 6 hours, and that sale goes on until May the 20th. This episode is sponsored by Life Bubble. Now if you own Colouring Book, you'll actually get this for $1.99 or €1.99. Your mission is to expand your life bubble across the planet and basically try and repair your ship to continue your adventure into the unknown. You have to chop wood, mine crystals or diamonds, and then use those to rebuild machines and bridges that will help you expand your life bubble area. Different constructions require different minerals and material amounts, so you'll have to search those out. This one comes from Homer Games. We'll pop links to it down in the description if you're interested in checking it out. Once again, a thanks to the publisher for sponsoring this episode. Next up we've got Berserk Boy. That's a great name, isn't it? Berserk Boy, what an absolute cracker. Now this was developed by a small, I think it might even be solo developer, but it's currently its lowest ever price, 20% off, down to just £12.79. Alright Barjan. We really enjoyed the game. It was Asdin of Grinning Wolf Games who did the review for this one. It certainly has those Mega Man vibes to it, but it's got a soundtrack that was actually created, I believe, by the Sonic Mania composer. He's also worked on TMNT, Streets of Rage and the Metal Slug games as well. This is very fast paced. If you're after an action game, you're going to really enjoy yourself. And yeah, it was quite funny actually. I had a message from the developer of this saying, look, I've got to be honest, I really like your content. I am a solo developer or like small dev, which basically means not a huge amount of marketing budget and whatnot. Would you show the game? And I was like, yeah, fair play to you. It's a good game. I'm going to show it. So here it is. If you enjoy it, go check it out. Do go and see our full review as well, because it is a very good game. That sale goes on until May the 2nd. Now usually I have some notes to go along with games if I haven't played them in a while. I definitely don't need notes for Monster Hunter Rise. My 2 kids have just got into this, and I mean they've owned it my daughter's owned it for a while now, but my son was kind of scared of playing. It's one of those quite intense games and he's a bit younger. But all 3 of us have been playing in LAN over the home network and it's absolutely amazing. So I've started a new character again. My 2 300-hour character has been put to the sidelines and I've gone back to square one. And in this game, I've never actually mained Bo, so I've played Bo in the older Monster Hunter game that we had on Switch, but I haven't tried it in Rise, and it's amazing. Like, it plays completely differently. If you're unfamiliar with these games, you've basically got, I can't remember how many weapons, it's like more than 10, isn't it? And each one has its own moveset. They're very technical and in-depth if you want to go into that way, but you can kind of spam buttons and just pick up and play as well. The premise is that you have to fight together as a team to take down large monsters, carve them up. There's different rarities tied to their body parts, which sounds really bad, doesn't it? But there's different rarities depending on when you carve, the percentage chance of you getting a certain piece. So there's always that, I don't want to say lottery because it gives it a bad connotation, but there is always that element to it where you'll get a piece that's really rare and be able to make something amazing. Then there's the whole like fashion show side of it. So you're donning different armors, wearing different costumes. It's great. You don't have to play in that way at all. You can play the story side and just do it solo, The story hub quests are much easier, but the online side for me, and the co-op certainly, is absolutely great. Now this is the cheapest it's ever been. I would say if you're not sure if you're going to enjoy it, then this is a good version, 75% off down to £8.74. I mean, that's a cracking price for, what, 500 hours of gameplay. But if you're positive, you've played previous games, you know you're going to enjoy these, particularly World, then maybe go for the Rise Sunbreak pack, which is together, and that's at its cheapest at the moment. So 2 options there. Those sales go on until May the 8th. It's quite nice to see how popular Dredge has become since it came out. I know not everyone's tried it, or it doesn't interest a lot of people in terms of its styling, but it was Glen that sold this to me with his review. Obviously when we get codes, we don't both get codes. Sometimes it's just one, so I don't get to play some of the things he gets to review, and vice versa. And this was one that really caught my eye. I was like, man, that looks so interesting, but I'm not sure if I'd enjoy it. It's a brilliant game. It has that weirdness of Lovecraft, whereby you kind of deck out your boat, you go out trawling, looking for specific items related to different requests that you'll receive. You can then sell your discoveries to the locals. That will help you to upgrade your boat and go out. Now at night time, things all get a bit strange and you can find yourself literally lost at sea. But if you do own the base game and you've not tried the DLCs, there's a couple of DLCs that you can pick up that are usually on sale as well. This one is down 30%. That is the cheapest it's ever been, and that's until May the 20th. I had to go and check if Nier was on sale because I was listening to the soundtrack. It's a great soundtrack, by the way. And yeah, it is on sale at the moment. Now this is down 40% to £20.99, which for a game of this scale is easily worth your time. Now, nothing to do with Nier, but it's kind of a similar genre. I am still working my way through Xenoblade 3. You might remember, like a couple of years ago, I was like, I'm going to finish it and get a review out. I will be doing a review of that game. It is going to happen. Can't say when or where. Well, I can say where. It'll be right here on the channel. But it's going to happen. Now, Nier Automata, oh my goodness. The End of Your edition on Switch is great. They went back as well, kept improving it. You've got an action RPG developed by Virtuous, and it includes the DLC, which were like Colosseums that you unlock after a certain amount of time in the game. Very much designed to be played through multiple times. No spoilers, great game. Absolutely great. The sale for that one goes on until May the 8th, and is available in all regions. If you'd like an old school kick with, well, it's not old school, it's an old school series, but the new game, then Oddworld Soulstorm is a good choice, especially 65% off. Thanks very much. Taking it to £15.74. It takes place after the events of the original games based around Rupture Farms, and basically centres around the 300 prisoners that you saved from there. You're helping them make a journey across the land, and while it feels very, very familiar, like almost to a fault to the early games, I do still think that gameplay holds up. It's almost like a puzzle in many ways, trying to solve the different action platform sections. You really do have to think about what you're doing. But I think they introduced, I don't remember this in the original, a crafting system where you use scavenged resources so you can craft things like weapons and stuff like that. But it's a good game, and I think it's better than the reception it received. But then that could be more of, it didn't change enough. Now, around about 10 or 20 hours to finish. The sale for that in all regions goes on until May the 14th. Another cheapest ever price is Aragami 2. That's 75% off, and that's until May the 20th. Now, Aragami, when it originally released, people loved it. Like, just having this kind of ninja stealth game that reminded people of Tenchu Stealth Assassin. They were very happy about that. Now, I have to say, I don't think it is as good as Tenchu. I don't think either of the games is as good as that series. I wish we would have more games from that series. I'd love a remaster of the original. But still, Aragami 2 had more of a co-op focus. So you could play online with 3 different people. It didn't have any local co-op on Switch, which was a bit of a shame. But there was much more customization here. There's also crafting, so you can craft different weapons and armors. And if you've got a couple of mates, like 3-player co-op is quality, like really good fun. But solo, I didn't find it that inspiring. Now, it's another that we have a full review of, so you can go and check it out and see what we thought of it. But had the game released at £8, I'd be much more inclined to say, yeah, that's an easy pickup. The sale for Aragami 2 goes on until May the 20th. The digital deluxe edition of Grip is currently £5.69. That really is a bargain, like that's ludicrous. That's 85% off, easily the cheapest it's ever been. This was one of those reviews back in the day where I was so excited, because for me it was like a reimagining of ROLLCAGE. If you ever played ROLLCAGE on PlayStation, it was awesome. basically its gimmick was that you could go upside down in tunnels and stuff. But it was more than a gimmick because it actually works so well for the gameplay. And Grip from publisher Wired Productions and developed by Cage Element, it really is, it's ROLLCAGE for the modern age. It has offline 2 to 4 player, which is always nice to see, and you can actually play with 10 of you online. These futuristic vehicles can go over 700 miles an hour, which unironically is faster than the graphics processor in the Switch, and there are 22 different weapons here, and 9 power-ups, as well as 15 different vehicles. It's a cool game. I'm not saying it's perfect. I mean, you can have a bit of a chuckle because you can go and watch my review of it. I hadn't reviewed many games at the time, so I didn't really know what I was doing. I still don't know what I'm doing, but you can hear that I knew less than I do now. Still, I quite enjoyed it, and I think for this price, yeah, that's a really nice little addition. Before we look at a hidden gem. The penultimate one then, before that gem, is Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Ubisoft, I mean, it's almost not worth buying their games new, is it? Because a couple of days after launch, they knocked the price right down. We're looking at a 40% reduction here, which is only available in the US regions, unfortunately, so bear that in mind. But the physical edition is always on sale, so if you're not in the US, just check out Amazon or something like that. You'll be able to find it for probably around this price, if not cheaper. The most surprising thing about this game is just how good it is. Some really nice mechanics. It's a Metroidvania, but there's accessibility options in there if you're someone that doesn't like wandering around like a headless chicken getting lost. But the combat was very slick, a bit soulsy, you know, fast parries, counters, and bosses that reminded me a bit of things like Hollow Knight in terms of their difficulty, but definitely one to consider if you're a fan of the genre. Alright, before we look at some Savaloys, we've got our hidden gem, and that's Warm Snow. Now this is 40% off, that's the cheapest it's been, and this launched with a few issues. Now it's had a couple of patches since launch. I don't think it's perfect, but it's definitely better than it was. It's an action role-playing game and a roguelite. Yes, it's another roguelite and takes quite a few cues from things like Hades, but this has a very rich storyline and visuals that are inspired by those silk paintings. Now if you'd like to check out a review of this one, I'd suggest going and checking out Switch Corner. He's done a video. He did obviously mention the performance because this was when it first came out. I think he might have revisited it as well. So yeah, a little bit of a hidden gem there in my opinion. That's 40% off across all regions, the cheapest it's ever been until May the 15th. So then we have our Savaloy Selection, our Vetcooks, our Costco hot dogs, our Portuguese. I tried. I totally forgot the name of it. You were in the comments last time. I was right there with you. We high-fived. You said, hey, there's this Portuguese dish called and now I've forgotten the name of it. I'm so sorry. Remind me again, I'll get it next time. But they are the cheap and cheerful little guilty pleasure foods that we enjoy, and that's what this section's all about. First up, we've got Sparklight at 85% off. This looks a bit like the baby of Blazing Beaks and Moonlighter. There's loads of bosses in there. You've got 5 procedurally generated biomes, and there's definitely a hub area. I remember Glen doing the video for this. I've totally forgotten it, but I remember he quite enjoyed it, and there's also co-op in there, which adds value to most experiences. Figment at 92% off. It's like a musical adventure, so music ties every aspect together. I will say that you can get the bundle of both games in America, as Figment on its own isn't on sale, so you can buy both together at their largest ever discount. Now I do want to say Cloudpunk, but I don't. Cloudpunk on Switch, the performance is terrible. It's not great. I don't think it's great. There are a few reviews out there. Go and check them out. See what you think. But the annoying thing is I really enjoyed the game. There's nothing amazingly special. You're basically like a taxi driver in a futuristic world. Some of the storytelling I thought was quite cool. 85% off, not too shabby until May the 20th. Civilization 6 in America is 85% off. This is a stupid price. It's like $4.50 for a game that you can put 600 hours of quality time into. If you like the old 4X strategies from back in the day, then yeah, consider that one. Last but not least, then we have Balan Wonder. Whoa. I think Yuji Naka's been fiddling with my list. Jog on, sunshine. Jog on. Better luck next episode. Do not buy Balan Wonderworld. It's rubbish. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I really enjoy making it, as I always do. Remember, if you are in the correct regions, I think it's like the US, Canada, and the EU, and then some EU regions, you can save yourself 5% on your eShop credit. You don't have to use any codes or anything. It just comes back in coins when you spend money to buy your eShop credit. Basically, I hope that makes sense. Other than that, what else is there to say? Have a lovely Monday tomorrow. I hope you found some Barjans. Let me know in the comments. Congratulations to the winner of the free game from last week. I'm going to choose someone else now, and you'll probably have seen them on the screen at the start of the video. For all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers, guys. See ya!